Hi everyone and welcome to Tiger TV. Me and Caleb are your anchors today. This section is about entrepreneurs.
We are going to start our show with Steven, who is reporting on George Lucas.
Have you ever watched Star Wars? If you have, you might have wondered who made it and how it came to be. Well, I'm going to tell you. The creator of Star Wars is George Lucas. George was born May 14, 1944 in Modesto, California. As a kid, Lucas liked to race cars, but he quit car racing when he had a near-fatal accident. He went to the University of Southern California where he studied cinematography and camera tricks. The first movie he ever made was called THX 1138, and that was a big fail. His next movie, American Graffiti, only made $780,000, but it won 5 Academy Awards. American Graffiti gave Lucas back the confidence to make Star Wars. Now that Lucas won back his confidence, he wanted to make a Saturday morning show. In 1971, Lucas already made some movies, and he really liked it, so he made a company to make movie making a full-time job for him. The company is called Lucasfilm. One time, Lucas was watching one of Joseph Campbell's movies, and he got an idea. In May 1977, Star Wars A New Hope was released. Star Wars blew audiences away, and it made over $513 million worldwide. Lucasfilm and Star Wars became more and more popular. In 1988, Lucas created a partnership with National Geographic and Apple Computer. In 2012, Lucasfilm was acquired by Disney. This means that Disney owns Lucasfilm, and that is why it's on Disney+. Now it is 2020, and Lucas is still making Star Wars movies and shows. He has 4 kids, Amanda, Katie, Jet, and Everest, and he lives with his wife, Melody Lucas. George Walton Lucas Jr. is 75 years old, and he's living a happy life. If I ever met Lucas in person, I would ask him, how long did you have the idea of Star Wars? That's it for today. Back to you at the studio.
Caleb, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Mine's Attack of the Clones. What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Mine is The Rise of Skywalker. Now we will go to Elena, who will be covering Mary Kay Ash.
Have you ever heard of Mary Kay Ash Cosmetics? Even if you have, I'm going to tell you all about Mary Kay. Mary Kay was born as Mary Catherine Wagner in Hot Wells, Harris County, Texas, USA on May 12, 1918. She was the daughter of Edward Alexander and Lula Vember Hastings Wagner, who also had 3 other children besides Mary. As she grew up, she attended Dow Elementary School, Region High School in Houston, and she graduated from the college at the University of Houston in 1934. Then at the age of 17, she got married to Ben Rogers. Together they had 3 children, Ben Jr., Marilyn Reed, and Richard Rogers. During her early career, she was a pioneer for women in business, building a substantial cosmetics empire. In 1939, she became a salesman for Stanley Home Products, encouraging people to buy household items. Ash then got hired away by another company, but got frustrated and quit after being passed over for a man that she trained. She also had to speak up for not getting a fair salary. When she was 45, she set out to create her own business, and she started with an investment of $5,000 in 1963. To get started, she sold skin lotions, and when her and her son Richard Rogers were ready, they opened up a small store in Dallas. Ash wanted to create her own business because she wanted to do her own thing at her traditional workplace, but she had bad experiences with them, so she set out to get the credit that she deserved. When she had enough money invested, she set up with her son. When people started to hear of her business, she got more salesmen to work for her. So it started off slow, but Mary was successful on her first try. Some facts are that she is known for her love for the color pink, and she also wrote several award-winning books. Her company sold $1 million by their second year driven, and Ash's cosmetics are sold at house parties and other events. Unfortunately, she died on November 22, 2001 in Dallas, Texas. So if she were here, I would ask her how she got the $5,000 investment. I would ask her if she earned it from her other businesses or if she somehow worked it off. Today in her memory, there are more than 1.6 million people working for her around the world. Back to you at the studio.
I never heard of Mary Kay Ash, have you?
No, I haven't either.
Next we will go to Sam, who will be talking about Walt Disney.
How much do you watch Disney TV shows? I bet it's a lot. Well, I'm here to tell you about who made it all. His name is Walt Disney. Walt Disney was born in Chicago, Illinois on December 5, 1901. Walt was one of 5 children. Walt sold sketches to his neighbors at 7 years old. One day, Walt discovered a barrel of black tar. You can only guess what Walt did. He and Ruth dipped big sticks into the tar and drew pictures all over the side of their White House. He went to McKinley High School. At night, he took classes at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts. He joined the Red Cross and was sent overseas. to drive ambulances and chaffer Red Cross officials. Walt returned to Kansas City, where he started his career as a cartoonist. In 1919, Walt Disney opened his first commercial art company. Then in 1920, he learned animation at the Kansas City Slide Company. Later in 1923, Walt and his brother Roy started Disney Brothers Studios, later changed to Walt Disney Studios. In 1928, his first Mickey Mouse film came out, called Steamboat Willie. 9 years later, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came out. On July 17, 1955, Disneyland opened in California. The first day did not go too smoothly. The train did not lead anywhere. There were not enough trash cans and water fountains, but Walt had them fixed. In 1965, Walt purchased land in Florida for Walt Disney World, but he died before it opened. Walt Disney died on December 15. If I could meet him, I would ask him why he was going to name Mickey Mouse Mortimer. Walt Disney will be famous in history forever. That's all I have for you today. Back to you in the studio.
Ooh, Walt Disney. I've always wanted to hear a Disney story. Next, we will hear from Mason, who is doing Jeff Bezos, the creator of Amazon.
This will be cool. I've heard that Bezos is one of the richest people in the world. Have you ever ordered on Amazon? Imagining ordering on Amazon and only seeing books. Well, that's what it looked like before 1998. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, in fact, it wasn't planned to sell stuff non-book related at all. Jeff Bezos was born on January 12, 1984, in New Mexico. When he was a kid, he rigged electrical contraptions around his house in high school. Bezos started his first business. It was called The Dream in Salutes and was a summer camp for 5th and 6th graders. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, how did he become the richest person? When he came up with the idea for Amazon, Bezos had 300 friends beta test his site. Then he had some of his friends help develop software with him in his garage. On July 16, 1995, Bezos opened Amazon.com. He named it after the Amazon river. Before 1998, Amazon was making more money than they imagined. This was really surprising because back then most .com businesses were a bust. Then Bezos started selling different things and made a fortune. After 1998, they were making so much it was really hard to keep up. By 2011, yearly sales were up to $17 billion. Another surprising thing is that Bezos had paid himself as much as all the other employees since 1998. Okay, so you might think, so what? He has a lot of friends in a good company besides being the richest person in the world. Actually, that's not all that makes Bezos special. He has done a lot of great things, like donating billions of dollars to charity. Better yet, he's done more. He is allies with Blue Origin, working on building a new lunar lander Shepard rocket. Surprisingly, its first mission is slated for 2024. Bezos also started the Bezos Day One Fund in 2018 to help homeless families, plus he gave away $2 billion of his own money to help out. If I could meet Jeff Bezos, I would ask him what it is like to be the richest person. Back to you in the studio. Now we will go to my fellow anchor Cam, who will be covering Bill Gates. I use my Xbox all the time, so this might be interesting.
Have you ever been on a Windows computer and wondered who is behind it? That man is Bill Gates. Bill was born on October 28, 1955 in Seattle, Washington. He has two siblings, Christiane and Libby Gates, both sisters. He's married to Melinda French, and they have 3 kids, Rory, Jennifer, and Phoebe. As a kid, he went to a private school, Lakeside School, in Seattle. Then he went to Harvard University from 1973 to 1975, but dropped out. Bill Gates was a computer programmer before becoming the head of Microsoft in 1983. He still is the head of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which helps education, health, and investing, along with making students become college ready. Once, he actually worked at Dairy Queen with Warren Buffett, a friend. You can only guess how that went. Gates is also a chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, a real estate company. Bill Gates has founded many companies. Gates' first business, Trafo Data, monitors traffic systems in Seattle. It was founded in 1972. Gates' most successful business, Microsoft, sells software, the Xbox, computers, and keyboards. It was founded in 1975. Corbis is a commercial photography company. It was founded in 1986. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation helps people through health, investment, and education, and also helps students become college ready. The foundation was founded in 2000. The last company Gates founded, TerraPower, is a green energy provider. It was founded in 2006. Now I'm going to talk about Bill Gates' most successful business, Microsoft. Microsoft is the second best performing business in the world, trailing only Apple. When Bill Gates and Paul Allen started Microsoft, they named it Microsoft, which stands for microcomputer software. They used the BASIC software for the Altair 8800 computer as the base of the company. When Allen went to Albuquerque, New Mexico to test out BASIC, the company Gates and Allen were presenting to, MITS, loved it. Microsoft was indeed a success. Fun fact, Bill Gates looked over every single code of software Microsoft ever sent, revising and editing if needed. Also, to this day, Bill Gates has donated $35.8 billion to the Gates Foundation. He does plan to give away 95% of his wealth by the time he dies. Here are some fun facts about Bill Gates. He co-started his first business at the ripe age of 15. His house cost $127 million. Another cool thing, he has given away almost $36 billion, and he still has $109.5 billion. Bill Gates does like his toys. He has 23 cars that cost $650,000. He had 2 Gulfstream private jets, and he now has a Bombardier jet that costs $20 million. He also has a private island that costs $25 million near Belize. Finally, he bought Leonardo da Vinci's Codex Leicester for $30.8 million. Bill Gates is now focused on being a very generous philanthropist. Well, there's the story of Bill Gates. If I could ask Gates a question, it would be, are you happy with all your money? Next time you log on to Windows, sign in for Xbox, or type on a Microsoft keyboard, remember the man that started all this, Bill Gates. Back to the studio. Now up is Aubrey, who is reporting on Phil Knight, the creator of Nike.
Do you ever wonder who made the shoes you wear? 'Cause I do. At first I didn't know who Phil Knight was, but once I started reading about him, I learned he was the founder of Nike. Did a lot of other things too. Phil Knight was born on February 24th, 1938, and was born in Portland, Oregon. A little fun fact is his zodiac sign is a Pisces. He went to the University of Oregon and Stanford Graduate School of Business. In 1968, Phil Knight was married to Penelope Parks, and they had 4 children. One of these sons died of a diving accident. In 1959, Phil Knight graduated from the University of Oregon with a degree in journalism. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, so he joined the Army in the 1 year of service and 7 years of Army Reserve. After the Army, he joined the Stanford School of Business, where he found the love for business, and he decided he wanted to become an entrepreneur. In 1962, while he was in Japan, Phil discovered a brand of running shoes that inspired him to create shoes as well. He partnered with his old coach, Bill Bono, to create Blue Ribbon Sports Company. The company was named after the Greek goddess of victory. He also used his wife's waffle iron to create first Nike shoes. The company started having trouble, so he created Nike. Knight used athletes to help him grow the company. Knight wanted to design products that the greatest athletes would wear. By 1980, Knight captured 1/2 of the entire athletic shoe market. The company started to grow and grow. Eventually, Knight was able to hire Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods, wear Nike apparel. Working with famous athletes helped Nike to grow more. In 2004, Phil Knight stepped down from CEO of Nike. That's the end of my story. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to try Nike shoes. Phil Knight, I have one question for you. Why did you marry Penelope Parks? Back to you in the studio.
I wear Nike like 3 times a week.
Finally, we have my fellow anchor, Caleb, who is doing Asa Candler Sr., the guy who made Coca-Cola.
Have you ever wondered how Coca-Cola was made? It's a pretty interesting story. Asa Candler bought Coca-Cola in 1888 and is known for making Coca-Cola the company it is today. Asa Candler was born on December 30th, 1851 in Rome, Georgia. Asa Candler had many jobs throughout his life. Some of his jobs were a store clerk, banker, and a real estate developer, and even the mayor of Atlanta, Georgia. He got married to Lucy Elizabeth Howard and had 3 children. Asa Candler didn't actually make Coca-Cola. John Stith Pemberton created a syrup. John had Jacob's Pharmacy try a sample, and they loved it. They sold it for 5 cents and used it for medicine. Then Candler had a headache and decided to have some of the medicine. He thought it tasted really good and needed to have more. Therefore, he bought it and spent 10 years trying to improve it. Then he decided to add carbonated water. So many people love the combination. This is the same Coca-Cola recipe you know and love today. Candler was such a good salesman. Candler made Coca-Cola grow and grow. The headquarters of Coca-Cola is now in Atlanta, Georgia. Asa Candler died on March 12, 1929, and was buried in southwest Atlanta. Later on, James Quincy took over Coca-Cola, and he is now the chairman and CEO of Coca-Cola. If I could ask Chandler one question, I would ask for the tour of the headquarters. Well, that's enough information for now. Back to the studio.
Coke, it's one of my favorite drinks.
That's it for today. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching Tiger TV.
Hello, welcome to Pause Power News.
Today we are introducing Tucker, Bailey, Annika, Cove, Nasher, Griffin, and Connor.
First up, Tucker is talking about Mark Zuckerberg.
Have you ever used Facebook? That would not be a possibility without Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg was born on May 14, 1984 in White Plains, New York. He was born into a comfortable, well-educated family. Mark attended Harvard University and Phillips Extender Academy right here in New Hampshire. Mark has a wife that he married in 2012. He also has 2 daughters. Before he made Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg created other websites. The other sites connected college students to others studying the same degree. He also wrote code for FaceMash, which is what Facebook was originally called. Mark Zuckerberg and his friends Dustin Moskovitz, Chris Hughes, and Eldorado Savine created Facebook while in college. By December 2000, the site had more than 5.5 million users. Here are some other facts about Mark Zuckerberg. The reason that the Facebook logo is blue is because Mark is colorblind and cannot see red or green. Another fact is he turned down offers to sell Facebook to MTV and Yahoo. Wow, I would not ever think that his dog is a celebrity. He dropped out of college and still was successful. Did you know that he bought Instagram in 2012? If I could ask him one question, it would be how long did it take to make Facebook? That's all for now. Back to Griffin and Cove in the studio.
Wow, I can't believe Mark went to high school in New Hampshire.
Second up, Bailey discussing about Reed Hastings.
Millions of people watch Netflix each day, 117.8 million to be exact. But do you know who created Netflix? Well, I'll tell you. Reed Hastings. Reed Hastings was born in Boston, Massachusetts on October 8, 1960, as Wilmot Reed Hastings Jr. His mother's name is Joan Amory, and his father's name is Wilmot Reed Hastings. He graduated from a private school in Cambridge, and from there he studied mathematics at Bowdoin College and graduated in 1983. Then he got accepted into the Stanford University to earn his master's degree in computer science in 1988. In 1991, he married Patricia Ann Quillen and had 2 children. In 1981, he served in the Marine Corps officer training through their platoon leader class. He also served in the Peace Corps in 1983. The Peace Corps is a volunteer program run by the U.S. government which sends volunteers to developing parts of the world. He went to Swaziland and taught high school mathematics from 1983 to 1985. He accepted a job at Adaptive Technology, but in 1991 he quit. He also worked at EdVoice and Antonio Maria Lugo Academy. In 1995, Pure Software was established by Hastings and was merged with Atria to form Pure Atria Corporation in 1996. Pure Atria Corporation was acquired by Rational Software in 1997. Reed Hastings and Mark Renoff decided to co-found Netflix in 1997. Hastings often says he decided to create Netflix after being fined $40 in late fees due to turning in a movie late at a Blockbuster store. He was inspired to create a service without late fees. Netflix was created in Scotts Valley, California. Netflix started as a media rental service which offered flat rate rental by mail to customers in the United States. Here are some interesting facts. Netflix was originally called Kibble because they had some trouble coming up with a permanent name. Also, the Henry Crown Leadership Award was presented to Hastings in 2014. This award is given to an outstanding leader. When Hastings worked at Pure Software, he realized being the CEO could be quite daunting. In 2006, he donated $1 million in startup funds to the Beacon Education Network to open up new charter schools in Santa Cruz County. Reed Hastings has a network of $2.3 billion. If I could ask Reed Hastings one question, I would ask, how does it feel to know so many people watch Netflix? Back to you in the studio.
I didn't realize that Netflix started out as a mailing system. How interesting.
Third up, Annika talking about Estee Lauder.
Do you like makeup? If you do, you're in for a treat. Hi, I'm Annika. I will be telling you about Estee Lauder and how she became who she was. She started her business at a young age in her teenage years. She started to sell creams that she made with her uncle, who was a chemist. He helped her start her business. Estee was born on July 1st of 1908. Her birth name is Josephine Esther Menzler. She grew up in New York City with her family and went to school at Newtown High. Soon after, she married Joseph H. Lauder. They had two sons, Ronald and Leonard. Lauder started to show her interest in makeup at a young age. For example, she would brush her mom's long hair and apply creams to her mom's face. When her business started to grow, she was one of the first to give free samples to help spread the word of her company. After years of operating her cosmetics business, she made it official in 1946. Her husband helped her with the business when she was starting in department stores. Soon after, her business grew massively. Back then, Estee was one of the richest self-made women in the world. When she was ready, she gave the company to her son. Soon after, her beloved husband Joseph died. Thankfully, her company still lives on today. Back to the studio.
I can't believe Estee was the richest female self-made millionaire of her time. Fourth, we have Cove talking about Ray Kroc.
Have you ever gone to McDonald's and thought, wow, this is a really good burger? You can thank Ray Kroc for that. Ray was born in Oak Park, Illinois on October 5th, 1902. His family had a Czech origin. Throughout his life, he has been a pianist at a nightclub and a real estate agent. He also drove an ambulance and he joined the Army. Before McDonald's was made, Ray met Walt Disney and formed a great friendship. Kroc also bought a Major League Baseball team, the Padres, and saved them. After jumping around with jobs, he found a company that he was comfortable at, selling paper cups. He would go around town selling them. When he was selling paper cups, he met Earl Prince, who bought and sold multi-mixers. When he was selling them, he ran up on a company that looked nice, so he paid them a visit. He found out that they ran on a conveyor belt that could produce food quickly. Kroc bought the place and made McDonald's. At the time of his death, there were 7,500 McDonald's between 3 dozen countries. Today, there are 37,855 McDonald's on Earth. That's all about McDonald's. Back to you at the studio.
Wow, it's so cool that Ray bought a Major League Baseball team. Fifth, last year who's reporting on Sam Walton.
Many people shop at Walmart today. Walmart's 50th anniversary is coming soon. Let's talk about Walmart's history. The creator of Walmart is Sam Walton. Sam was born in Kingfisher, Oklahoma on March 29, 1918. His parents were Thomas and Nancy. James was his brother. He had 4 children, Alice, John, Jim, and Sam. His wife was Helen. He went to Hickman High School. In his senior year of high school, he was voted for the most fertile boy of the year. He then went to University of Missouri. He got a job at JCPenney where he worked as a sales trainee. Later, he was drafted by the U.S. Army in 1942. He served as a communications officer in the Army Intelligence Corps. He was released in 1945. After he was released from the Army, he used a $25,000 loan from his father to acquire his first store, a Ben Franklin store, in Newport, Arkansas. Later, he started working with his brother, who owned 15 Ben Franklin stores. There was frustration over the management of the chain. James ignored Walton's push to expand in rural communities, which prompted him to strike out on his own. Then Sam decided to open his own store called Walmart in 1962 in Waters, Arkansas. When Walmart opened, it was successful. They made their prices low and affordable. Their share value by 1976 $176 million. In the early 1990s, Walmart's stock worth went up to $45 billion. By 1991, Walmart increased sales over 40%. Walton owned 50.8% of Walmart. Walmart is ranked the 14th best company. Today, Walmart has over 2.2 million employees. While Walmart was growing, Sam wanted to expand his resources to help other small businesses to access products and services he needed. Because of that, he decided to open Sam's Club in 1983 in Midwest City, Oklahoma. There were problems after it opened. In 2009, all Canadian locations were closed. With that, about 10% of the workforce was laid off in 2010. Also in 2014, an additional 2,500 jobs were cut at underperforming locations. They have fixed that, and now today Sam's Club has 2 million employees, 660 locations in the U.S. and Puerto Rico. Sam died before the problems happened. He died on April 5th, 1992. Before he died, he was honored by President George H.W. Bush with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. His favorite pastime was hunting. If I had a chance to ask him one question, it would be, how does it feel owning a big business? Now back to you at the studio.
Wow, I can't believe he got voted for most versatile student. That's so cool. 6. Griffin will be talking about Donald Kendall.
What's better, Coke or Pepsi? You wouldn't be able to answer that question without Donald Kendall. Donald is the one who made Pepsi a big competitor by creating PepsiCo Inc. Donald was born on March 16, 1921 in Sequim, Washington. He received a football scholarship to Kentucky Western College. Donald got married 50 years ago and had 2 sons, Kent and Donald Jr. Donald joined the U.S. Navy in World War II and became a bomber pilot. Then he sold fountain syrup for Pepsi after the war. Next, he became vice president in charge of national sales for Pepsi, and later he became in charge of worldwide sales. One of Kendall's greatest accomplishments was figuring out how to get the Soviet Union to drink Pepsi. Because of this, he became an extremely valued employee. He then became the CEO of Pepsi. Eventually, Pepsi and Lay's and Junior planned to work together. This was the start of PepsiCo. Donald was the one who invented PepsiCo Inc., and it now has 6 divisions in the company. For example, Frito-Lay and Quaker Foods. They did business the right way. Pepsi became the 25th largest corporation in the United States. When Donald retired in 1986, Donald made $7.5 million and had more than 137,000 employees. Some other interesting facts about Donald include Donald used to own a ranch in Wyoming. Also, he had a model of the plane flew in the Navy. Donald Kendall had an amazing reputation with Pepsi. Next time you drink a Pepsi, just think to yourself how much was put into making that drink and how much it's evolved over the years. One question I would ask him if I could would be, how many flavors in all has Pepsi made? Thank you. That's all. Thank you. That's all for today. Back to the studio.
It's amazing Donald Kendall had a model of the plane he flew in the Navy.
7th is Connor, who will be reporting on Lee Byung-chul.
I bet you have something in your house is from the company I'm going to talk about. Lee Byung-chul made phones, TVs, washers, dryers, and was the creator of Samsung. Lee Byung-chul was born on February 12, 1910 in South Korea. He went to Jungdong High School and was at a university. Lee Byung-chul has a wife named Parker Toole. Fun fact, he had 4 sons and 6 daughters. That's a lot of kids if you ask me. Lee Byung-chul had a bunch of jobs. He worked at the rice mill, but he didn't get a lot of money, and he was the creator of Samsung. That's cool if you ask me. Another fun fact is that in 1996, he made $16.8 billion. That's a lot of dollars. Do you know that Samsung has a town named after it? That's where Samsung's headquarters is located. Did you know that Samsung means 3 stars? In Korea, 3 stars means big and powerful. That's a fact I did not know. Lee Byung-chul showed perseverance by losing $1 billion from the war and then making another $1 billion. Another fun fact is that Samsung started out as a trading company. That's something else I never knew. Lee Byung-chul traded TVs and phones for fruit, vegetables, and fish. The question I'm wondering is, how many jobs did Lee Byung-chul have? Unfortunately, he died on November 19, 1987 of lung cancer. Back to you in the studio.
How interesting that the word Samsung means 3 stars.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching Pause Power News.
Hi, and welcome to WNTS News.
I'm Gianna.
And I'm Caitlin. Today we're going to be learning about entrepreneurs.
First, we're going to listen to Jonathan talk about Steve Jobs.
Do you have an iPhone? Do you use it a lot when you get bored? When you use it, you should thank Steve Jobs for creating the iPhone. He was born in San Francisco, California on February 24th, 1955. His favorite hobby was growing up was playing with electronics. Steve and his friend Wozniak made a computer in Jobs' garage. In 1976, they formed Apple Computer Company. They built the Macintosh computer in 1984. It was very special. When sales went down, Apple and started a new company called Next Computer. He also bought Pixar with made Disney movies. Jobs was CEO of the app and developed the iTunes and the iPhone. Some more interesting facts about Steve Jobs that he dropped out of college, but he still got a good job. He also studied in Buddhism for seven months. Jobs came up with the name Apple because he was in an apple orchard when he was thinking of the name for his new computer. Jobs was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2008 and died from it in 2011. If I could ask Jobs a question, I would ask him how much money did he have. Back to you in the studio.
Wow, I didn't know Steve Jobs came up with the name Apple while being in an orchard.
Now let's listen to Nathan talk about Ray Kroc.
Have you ever eaten McDonald's? Did you know that Ray Kroc bought McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers and he helped make McDonald's a better restaurant? Ray Kroc was born on October 5th, 1902 in Oak Park, Illinois, and he died on January 14th, 1984 at the age of 81 in San Diego, California. Ray Kroc married Ethel Fleming and they had a daughter named Marilyn. At the age of 17, Ray Kroc began his career in sales, a pianist at a nightclub, a DJ at a local radio station, and a real estate agent in Fort Lauderdale. He also joined American Stock Exchange in New York. At the age of 21, he got his first steady job as a salesman at Lily Tulip Paper Cup Company. He formed Prince Castle Sales to start selling multi-mixers for milkshakes. Eventually, the business started to suffer, so he traveled to California to meet with the two brothers who had a restaurant named McDonald's. He sold paper cup milkshake mixers to the McDonald's brothers. He bought the company at the age of 59. He transformed it into one of the most successful fast food operations in the world. Ray Kroc turned McDonald's into a franchise company. This means he was able to start opening and selling many restaurants. By the time he died, there were 7,500 McDonald's across the world. His fortune was about $500 million, and he died in 1984. In 2016, more than 3 decades after his death, they made a movie about his life called The Founder. One question I would ask him is, why did you get rid of McDonald's pizza? Every time you pass McDonald's, think of Ray Kroc. Back to you in the
I wonder what Ray Kroc's favorite meal at McDonald's is.
Now we're going to hear all about Jack Dorsey.
Do you know the app Twitter? The app Twitter was created by Jack Dorsey. Dorsey was born in St. Louis, Missouri on November 1976. As a kid, he liked computers and technology. He went to Missouri University. Dorsey transferred to New York University, but then dropped out of college. When he was in a taxi, he wondered how the taxi drivers communicated with each other. Then he made a walkie-talkie for the drivers to use at 15. He created Dispatch. After college, Dorsey went to make his new idea, make an app for people to talk to each other. On March 21st, 2006, Dorsey sent the first tweet. It blew up, and then Dorsey started to make tons of money. Some interesting facts about Jack Dorsey are that during the 2009 president election, Twitter was flooded with tweets. In 2015, he started a new app called Foursquare, which lets people pay for things using a smartphone. One more interesting fact about this, he traveled the world with all his
followers and send photos. If I could ask Dorsey one question, I would ask him if I could work for him and help him. Back to you at the studio.
Now let's hear all about Walt Disney from Gianna.
Have you ever heard of Mickey Mouse? I bet you have. In fact, people argue he is the most recognizable cartoon character. However, do you know who made Mickey's claim to fame? Walt Disney. Walter Ellis Disney was born on December 5, 1901 in Chicago, Illinois. His parents are Ellis Disney and Flora Call Disney, who had 5 children including Walt. He went to McKinley High School but dropped out at the age of 16. Walt also took courses at the Art Institute of Chicago. Walt worked a summer job at the railroad station selling snacks and newspapers. When Walt was 16, he tried to get into the Army, but was rejected because he was underage. Then he went on to join the Red Cross and drove an ambulance in the war. Roy, Walt's brother, got him a job at Pesman Rubin Art Studio in 1919. Later on, Disney worked for Kansas City Film Ad Company, where he created animation cutout commercials. Then he created a business called Laugh-O-Grams. However, in 1923, the studio became buried in debt and they were soon forced to declare bankruptcy. Walt then moved to Hollywood with his brother Roy and friend Eubie Erwix, and together they started Disney Brothers Animation Studio, later to be named Walt Disney Studio. In 1939, Walt Disney Studios moved to Burbank, but in 1941, Walt Disney Animators went on strike. The beginning of Disneyland is all because Walt imagined an amusement park where his characters could come to life. He also wanted a place that catered to the entire family, which meant no alcohol was sold on the premises. Instead, Main Street USA was filled with souvenir shops. Sadly, Roy had no interest in an amusement park, which led to an ugly split between the brothers. Disneyland had a really hard opening day. The harsh treatment from the staff prevented the families from having the full experience Disney imagined. Thousands forgot their tickets, and their presence made the park feel overcrowded. There were no working water fountains due to a local plumber strike, which made people think it was a ploy to make the guests buy water. Temperatures were over 100 degrees Fahrenheit for over 2 weeks, which led to a low cash flow, which nearly put them out of business. A gas leak in Fantasyland put their struggles over the edge, and then their struggles were broadcasted on national television. However, Walt fixed the problems and they became very successful. In 1993, Walt and Lillian Disney had a daughter named Diane Disney Miller, and then in 1936 they adopted Sharon Disney Lund after her birth. Diane married Ronald Miller, and they had Christopher, Joanna, Tamara Walter, Jennifer Patrick, and Ronald Miller Jr. Then Sharon married Robert, and they adopted Victoria Disney. After, Sharon married her second husband, Bill Lund. Bill mapped out the 27,000 acres, which is now Walt Disney World. In 1970, Sharon and Bill had twins named Brad and Michelle. However, due to smoking, Walt Disney got lung cancer and lost his life on December 15, 1966. Walt is very famous, but here are some facts I bet you didn't know about him. He had a 43-year Hollywood career and won 22 Academy Awards. He also has 3 honorary degrees from University of Southern California, Harvard University, and Yale. In Steamboat Willie, he was the voice of Mickey. This shocked me. Walt also has a secret apartment in Disneyland that is still there. I hope you learned more about Walt Disney. I wonder if Walt Disney would be proud of Disney World, since he died before it opened. Back to you at the studio.
Wow, that's so cool that he has a secret apartment in Disneyland.
Now let's learn about Estee Lauder with Caitlin.
Have you ever heard the name Estee Lauder before? Estee Lauder is the founder of Estee Lauder Cosmetics. She was born on July 1st, 1906. Her full name at birth was Josephine Esther Mester. Lauder showed many signs of liking makeup and skincare at a young age. She loved to brush her mom's long black hair and put cream on her mom's face. Once her uncle, who was a chemist, found out for her love for cosmetics, he started to teach Estee how to make her own cream. Not long after, she started selling her own cream at a nearby hair salon. Later on down the road, she married Joseph H. Lauder. Then a few years later, she had her first son named Leonard Lauder. In 1948, she made Estee Lauder an official business. Once of her business
One of her business tactics was to give a free sample with every purchase. Sadly, she lost her husband 10 years later. Then she remarried and had a new son, Ronald. By the time 1995 came around, her company was earning $2 billion. Later in life, she wrote an autobiography called Estee, a Success Story. Sadly, she died on April 24, 2004. Then her first son took over the company. One other interesting fact about Estee Lauder is that she went to a party thrown by Nancy Reagan. That's it for today. Back to the studio.
That's so cool that she made her cosmetics with her uncle at such a young age.
Now let's hear from Benno all about Reed Hastings.
How much do you use Netflix? I bet it's a lot. Well, I'm here to tell you about the person who made Netflix. His name is Reed Hastings. He was born in 1960 and his birthday is October 8th. He was born in Boston, Massachusetts. Reed went to the Marine Corps for a few years. When he retired, he taught math in a place called Swaziland. He also was a software developer, and he sold vacuum cleaners for about 1 year. Before Netflix existed, there was a DVD store called Blockbusters. They sold movies, DVDs, etc. Reed went to that store a lot to rent movies, but one day he got a notice saying they had a $40 late fee because he did not return a DVD he rented. After that incident, Reed had an idea to make a movie rental service that did not have late fees. He first got the money for Netflix by buying out a software company. Netflix launched in 1998. Before it was called Netflix, it was called Cable because the company could not come up with a permit for the name. Before Netflix was all online, they used to send you the movies or DVDs through the mail to your house. Netflix tried to make a partnership with Blockbusters, but Blockbusters denied the offer. Later, Blockbusters ran out of business because people would rather get DVDs sent to their house instead of having to walk to a store. If I was the manager of Blockbusters, I would have easily accepted the offer. Well, that's how Netflix started. If I could ask Reed Hastings one question, it would be, what is your favorite Netflix TV show or movie? Now back to you at the studio.
Wow, I didn't know he taught math in Swaziland.
I hope you learned a lot about entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Thank you.